okay, Disney. Can we talk? Cause like I don't know. I feel like we give you time and time again chances. And it seems like it's just with Star Wars. Like you can do Marvel really well. You can do Pixar really well. You can do Disney. You can do princesses. You can do everything really well. But for some reason with Star Wars, I just don't get you guys. Like, do you guys just not know what Star Wars is? Like, okay, so I just saw Rise of Skywalker. First off, full disclaimer, there's gonna be spoilers. Not gonna hold back. If you haven't seen the movie and you don't want to get spoiled, just turn off the video now. Okay, now that we can speak freely, I don't even know where to start. Okay, like let me start off with some good stuff. So, The Rise of Skywalker is not a bad movie. Nowhere am I gonna ever say that Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker is a bad movie. It's not. It's a very Star Wars movie. This is true. You have a great trio. Rey, Poe, and Finn are amazing together. Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, his story arc in this movie is amazing. You know, the places they take you, it's great. I love it. It's very Star Wars, and I appreciate that. This is not my gripe. My gripe is not that Disney cannot get the aesthetics of Star Wars down, because Disney is the only person I can trust that can get Star Wars aesthetically pleasing to me. This is so true. It can make you feel like it's Star Wars. It can make you look like it's Star Wars. But maybe it's just me. But like what got me into Star Wars was never like the blasters. I was a fan of Stormtroopers. I was a fan of the clones. I was a fan of, but to me it wasn't always about that. I just loved the story that was being told. I think Star Wars was explaining stuff in such a way to me that it was just mesmerizing. Like there was the Force, and then there was a chosen one. Then he turned dark. To me that was captivating. And I don't know, with this trilogy, I was giving you guys so much benefit. Like I was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt with the story. But it feels like you did not watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Like you saw 4, 5, and 6, but you didn't like pay attention to the story. You were just like, oh, this is what Star Wars is. And you totally threw the story out the door and what it was. And like everything you did afterwards, like you removed all the books. You said, no, that's not canon anymore. They became legends. It felt as if you didn't really care about Star Wars. You cared about what Star Wars represented. And honestly, that I can see that in this trilogy. You knew what Star Wars was. You knew what everybody wanted. So you gave us Force Awakens. And it was basically a New Hope. And then you watched The Last Jedi, and you basically kind of took one of our most beloved characters, and yeah, you can kind of compare him to Yoda, but it's already been done. Like Luke was supposed to be different. Luke was built up to be different, and you just made him the same as Yoda. And then Rise of Skywalker, it felt like you were caught with your pants down, and so you wanted to figure out what kind of story. Like you realize that just because it's aesthetically looking like Star Wars, and it has all the Star Wars characters, that's not what makes Star Wars Star Wars. Essentially, it's not Star Wars to me. You can make things look like Star Wars, but if the story doesn't make sense, if the story does not fit in the universe that is being told, then it ruins it. So George Lucas, the reason why he never made a sequel. He never made a sequel because he believed he had told the story of Anakin. That was the only reason why he made Star Wars, was to tell this story that he wanted to tell, which was the story of a young boy who was the chosen one, who turned to the dark side, but at the very end, his son was able to change him and become good, which then fulfilled the prophecy that was being told. That was the story. That was it. Now, if you want to make more, I'm not saying you can't make more Star Wars movies, but respect what has already been told. And this series just threw it out the door. Cause like, okay, so Rise of Skywalker brings back, like, you can tell like they're caught with their pants down. They bring back Palpatine, even though they've already they made it seem like it was Snoke. Then they kill Snoke. Then they make it seem like it's gonna be Ben, like Kylo Ren, who's gonna be the ultimate villain. No, it's back to Palpatine. So you're kind of like, okay, cool. If you're gonna bring him back, that means you're understanding that Palpatine and Anakin were a thing. Nope, not that whatsoever. You know what Rey is? Rey is the granddaughter of Palpatine. So really, when the movie is all said and done, Rey is a Palpatine, and she is what rises, not the Skywalkers. All the Skywalkers die. At the end of the movie, there are no more Skywalkers. None. No mas. So it leads to question, why the heck would you call it Rise of Skywalker? It's the death of Skywalker. Fuck the Skywalkers. Damn the Skywalkers. Who are Skywalkers? Those are perfectly more adequate titles than Rise of Skywalker. And don't give me the whole, oh, well, the end scene when the little lady asks her, Rey, what's your last name? And then she looks over and she sees Luke, just Luke and Leia, by the way. And then, not like Ben Solo, who dies as well, just Luke and Leia. And then she goes, oh, I'm Rey Skywalker. Like, no, you're not. You're Rey Palpatine. Like, calm yourself. Like, you're a Palpatine. Like, you can't change that. Like, just because you know what? You know what, you guys? I'm done. I'm done being a Morales. You know what you're gonna call me? You're gonna call me Israel Skywalker. Just because I really feel like I should be one. No, that's not how that works. It's never how that's ever been. And it's such a cheap way of doing it. Like, come on. And what bothers me so much more is the fact that you literally set yourself up to make something amazing. So like, why couldn't my theory, my thing that could have solved all your problems is if Rey was a clone of Anakin. That's all she had to be. You know why? Because it would have connected the reason and made sense to everybody why Palpatine wanted Rey. You know why Palpatine wanted Rey? Was because he wanted Anakin to begin with. But you know what he ended up getting? Basically, no arms, no legs, Darth Vader. That's all he got. And yeah, Darth Vader was powerful, but it wasn't the full potential that he was hoping for with Anakin. So you know what he did? He decided, because that's what Palpatine does. As you can even see, he has done 9 movies. He plays the long game. So you know what? And he's a smart man. You know what he's going to do? He's going to try to recreate Anakin using his cells, because he's not as strong as his master, who maybe might have made Anakin Darth Plagueis. Or maybe it was just the Force, but it was always told that he was made with the midichlorians. So why it would make sense that he tried to do what his master did, and he tried to recreate. And not only did he try to use the dark side of the Force, but he even tried to use the cloning and the genetics from the clone troopers. It's not like it was all made up. It was something that was already instilled into the saga. And even then, if you look at Disney Plus The Mandalorian, it's been confirmed that the scientist who's in the first 2 episodes, he is an Imperial geneticist. That's why everyone thinks that Baby Yoda is being wanted so that they can clone him. You see, it's right there. You have it. It makes sense. So let's keep going. Let's just say he finally makes one. Years go by and he finally makes one. It's a little baby. And so he's like, well, I can't train her. She's just a child. So the scientists who've made her like, we'll take care of her for a bit. You know what? So they take care of her. They see kind of how Palpatine's becoming. He's not the nicest guy in the world. They know what, and then they kind of realize what he's going to do to Rey. So you know what they do? They take her to Jakku. This part alone explains two things. Why in The Last Jedi, Kylo Ren would say your parents were nobodies. It's true. Her parents were nobodies. It would then lead to that she is a nobody. You know, the Force, it's just who she, you know, it's just what it is. She is, you know, it's a nobody. She in herself is a nobody. It explains in Force Awakens why she is able to wield a lightsaber, wield the Force so easily. You know, it's just natural. It's because she's Anakin. Also, on top of that, why she's able to why she's able to fly the Millennium Falcon with ease. She has the same pilot. She has the same pilot skills that Anakin does. She's attuned to it. It would also explain why Han Solo was so easily, like, I wouldn't say attracted, but he was able to like be a father figure for her so easily because he sensed the Skywalker lineage. It was one of those things, like, it was just like being with Leia because she shares the same blood, the same DNA. The Force was able to connect them in that kind of bond because he already has that connection. Like, everything just makes sense. So then let's just say at the very end, when she touches his lightsaber, I think the Force power that she has, and I think I think it's what it's called, is psychochemistry, which basically she can touch anything and she's able to relive the past. You see that a lot in this one, but you first see it when she touches Anakin's lightsaber. And honestly, when she touches it in that moment, that's the most powerful time. Like, that's the most powerful moment she ever has with that Force power. It's because that is her genetic code's lightsaber. That's why she has such a strong connection to it. More of a connection than she does within the whole series. That's her lightsaber. I'm sorry, it's just that it bugs me because this makes sense. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I am. So let's keep going. So then let's just say, she's already frustrated. She doesn't know who she is. She's lost. So she sees Luke. Luke throws the lightsaber because you know what he does? He automatically knows who she is. She is Anakin. But the issue is she's lost. And he already has in the back of his head, he knows he won't be able to do it because he already failed with Ben. He feared Ben's power and he was like, I can't. I know my tendency. I see the dark side in people. He goes, I can't I can't risk having that same mistake with Rey, because if she turns to the dark side, the whole galaxy is doomed. Imagine Anakin without losing any limbs, without anything, just there. You know how awesome that would have been? Like how awesome of a dark side power dark side user he would have been. Now imagine Rey. Like, he was scared. That's why he didn't want to train her, and it just explains it. So then he trains her, of course. She does exactly what Luke does, and she wants to go save his friends. Okay. But yeah, it's just it explains everything that it needs to in The Last Jedi. She defeats Snoke, and that's why it explains, because it's interesting because she has such a strong bond with Kylo Ren. And supposedly, Snoke created the bond. Well, why wasn't he able to like create that bond with other people? Why only those two? It would explain it because they share blood. They share blood, so the Force connection is already there. All you have to do is make it stronger. Not hard. It would explain it. So then let's just say this. Now we're in the Rise of Jedi, right? Rise of Skywalker, sorry. Palpatine comes back, and the first thing you see in that first scene when Kylo finds Palpatine is literally a tank of Snoke's. So we already know, at that point we can come to an assumption that Snoke is a clone, like he's being bred as a clone, and that Palpatine's actively making more. So it's one of those things that it's just you have the thing, you have the plot, you have the the no, the ingredients, that's the word. You have the ingredients to make the story work. And so then Palpatine comes, right? And she, like, everything slowly starts to, especially now that Palpatine's come back. It's one of those things that, like, her Anakin instincts are like coming back. She's having she's having oh my god, I can't talk today. She had flashbacks, that's it. She's got flashbacks of like Old Republic, or like moments where Darth Vader and Palpatine were together. And it's just one of those things that would be like, oh, whoa, what is she? Is she someone related? Where was she in this? And then all of a sudden, like, he sees her and goes, I made you who you are. Like that final moment when Palpatine sees her, it's like, I made you because my previous apprentice was not adequate enough. I wanted to make him anew. And so I made you, Rey. You will now take the seat as Empress, and I will bestow upon you the power of I will give you all the Sith powers. So basically, how this would work is that because she's technically the chosen one, she has the same blood as Anakin. So, but the issue is, this is the trick. She is now given the opportunity just to be pure dark side, and she says no. She denied the dark side this time, rather than Anakin, who chose the dark side. She chose light. Just remember that. Just hold that thought. So now we're here, and she goes no, right? So he pulls the force, like, he drains her, and she's like knocked out. She looks up into the sky, and they talk to her. The Jedi talk to her. I thought that was the stupidest scene, stupidest thing ever. Like, can you not afford CGI? Like, can you not afford the ghosts? Like, why do they have to talk to her in the stars? Like, to me, what you can make out like a couple of people, to me, it wasn't impactful enough to me. It's just like, oh, okay, they're talking to her. Like, we've seen what they can do. They become Force ghosts, but this is the best they can do. They could only talk from the stars. Okay, so that was a stupid opportunity. What I think what they could have done was that she gets back up, and she pulls out Luke's light, or like her lightsaber. And Palpatine's like, no, stand down. He like electrocutes her. She's holding off. Then she pulls out Leia's lightsaber, and she's holding back, but she knows she can't beat Palpatine by herself. She knows it. And all of a sudden, you hear you just see blue, and it sounds like a lightsaber, and you're like, what? And of course, you can't see, the camera angles like angled on Palpatine with just the back of Rey. All of a sudden, you see a blue hand. You turn around, and it's Anakin, and then all behind him is all the Jedi. We're talking like Obi-Wan and Yoda are like right there next to him on the front. And it's just all of them behind her, and Anakin's like, "Don't worry, the Jedi are with you, or like are inside of you." And then all of a sudden, like, they all like just like rush into her, and she's able to push that lightning back towards Palpatine and basically incinerates him like she does in the movie. To me, that would make way more sense, and it would give her that sense that she kind of knows who she is and that she is accepted. So then she dies, right? She dies killing him, and Kylo wakes up. Well, Ben Solo at this point, because he's now good. He wakes up and he sees her dead, right? And he's panicking. He's like, oh no, she's dead. She's dead. Like, what am I gonna, like, I love her. It wasn't supposed to be her. It was supposed to be me. She is good. I am, she made all the right choices. And so all of a sudden he looks up, and it's just Anakin. It's just Anakin. Who Kylo Ren always looked up to only as Darth Vader, he now sees as Anakin. And Anakin looks at him and goes, I know how you feel, but this is the path of the chosen one. We must die to bring balance. And so this is a key dilemma. This dilemma happened once before, and it was with Anakin and Padme. Anakin could not save Padme, so he turned to the dark side. So you know what? Ben Solo's like, I don't accept that. So he does force healing. He heals her, brings her back to life. So, but then the issue is Ben Solo dies, but he gives Rey life. something that Anakin could not even do for Padme. Ben was able to do for Rey. And it would just be one of those things that at that point, even Ben was able to be better. Like, he surpassed his visions of like what he wanted to be of like Darth Vader. He was able to surpass that, something that Anakin couldn't even do. And he brings back Rey. And so Rey's like, what? And then all of a sudden, she brings balance. And maybe they have a little talk, her and Anakin, but that's not necessary. You can literally cut to the scene where they go and do all that, because that's enough for me. That speaks words. That brings the whole all three trilogies together at one moment. And then all of a sudden, so when she goes buries the sabers in the sand at Tatooine, in Luke's in the Lars homestead where Luke was, something where the whole Star Wars started. He buries their two lightsabers. Well, she buries their two lightsabers, Luke and Leia's. And so the little old lady comes in and she's like, oh, what's your name? He's like, I'm Rey. And of course, the question that was always told within the movie was, Rey who? And then she looks over to the side, and it's not just Luke and Leia, but rather Luke, Leia, Anakin, and Ben Solo looking at her, and she goes, I am a Skywalker. And it's just one of those things that it comes full circle. Everything that could have gone wrong, everything that went wrong in like episode 3 worked well in here. It was all fixed. Everything rebalanced itself. It just would have made more sense. And people who have seen like Clone Wars, it also fits with the father, the daughter, and the son. So if the son, Anakin, chose the dark side, Anakin would be the son. And if Rey chose the good, she would then be the daughter. And it's just one of those little nice little things that you get to see, that each one got to choose each one had to choose a side to bring balance to the Force. I don't know. And to me, like, I think about that and I'm like, that would have been great. But that's not what we got. Nope. No sirree, Bob. We did not get that. So we're stuck with dreams, hopes, and a bag of diapers. That's a weird saying. I need to stop saying that. Yeah. But yeah, so that's my thought on that whole process. Went on a little rant there. But Disney, come on. Like, it was there. Like, that makes sense to me, because it was all built there. But you came out with this. And like I said, it's not a bad movie. It's a Star Wars movie. But when it comes to if it's supposed to be a movie that concludes everything, it's not. It's not a movie that concludes everything. It does not wrap up everything in a nice, pretty bow like it should. It doesn't wrap anything up. It leaves you with such a bad taste in your mouth. Like, if the bad guy actually won. Because in the end, that's what happened. Palpatine, Skywalker's lineage dies, but Palpatine's lineage lives on. Don't tell me, well, she's actually a Skywalker. No, her bloodline. Like, come on. Her blood is in it. Like, I don't know, man. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's our fault. Maybe I'm a dreamer. Maybe I'm a loser. Maybe I'm all those things. But God knows, Star Wars could have been better. And you dropped the ball, Disney. I don't know whose it is. I have a feeling I know. I see you. I see you, Kathleen Kennedy. No, Kathleen. No, I know it's you. I'm watching you. But yeah. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Let me know what your ideas were on Star Wars, how you felt about that, and also how you would have liked that ending to come out. Do you agree with me? Do you think that the story ended perfectly fine? You were content with it? No questions asked. Because that's it. Go for it. I'm off. If you like Star Wars for that reason, that's you. That's all for you. I have nothing against you for it. I like Star Wars for a different reason. That's it. But yeah, that's all I got for this video. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay? Bye.